There's a silence that settles in with age, one that no doctor warns you about and no retirement brochure ever mentions. It's not the silence of peace or rest. It's the kind that echoes through the empty rooms once filled with laughter, the kind that settles into the long afternoons after the children have grown, after the job is done, after the noise of life begins to fade. If you're over 60 and you've felt this, not just loneliness, but a sense of being slowly forgotten, you're not imagining it. You're not weak. You're not alone. Millions of seniors in America today are quietly carrying burdens no one sees. Physical pain that gets brushed off as just aging, grief that never fully healed, financial fears that are too embarrassing to speak out loud, and perhaps the hardest of all, the feeling that your worth, your voice, your presence doesn't matter as much as it used to. But I want you to know, your story still matters. Your voice still matters. And so does your well-being. Before we go any further, I'm going to ask you to do something that helps more than you know. Like this video, not for me, but so this truth reaches others who are silently struggling, just like you. Subscribe to our channel, where every week we shine a light on the deeper issues of aging with honesty, dignity, and respect, because growing older shouldn't mean growing invisible. And comment below, what has been the hardest part of aging for you that nobody talks about? Your story could be the very thing someone else needs to hear today. In today's video, we're going to explore 7 silent struggles of aging, the ones most people are too afraid or too ashamed to speak of. But here, we speak plainly, and we speak with compassion. Because by naming these struggles, we begin to heal them. Let's begin. 1. The grief no one sees, loss beyond funerals. When people think of grief, they often picture a funeral, a black suit, tears, a gathering of loved ones. But for many seniors, the deepest grief doesn't come with ceremony. It comes quietly, in the slow, invisible loss of a life you once knew. Grief in old age isn't just about losing people. It's about losing roles, mother, father, provider, spouse. It's about waking up and realizing the phone doesn't ring as often, that your advice isn't asked for like it once was, that the calendar that used to be filled with obligations, events, responsibilities, now sits blank for days at a time. It's grieving the body you once had, the way your knees used to carry you without a second thought, the way your eyes used to read fine print without glasses, the way you used to sleep through the night without waking to pain or worry. And it's grieving the people who are still alive, but different, a spouse with memory loss, a child too busy to visit, friends who drifted away. These are not the kinds of grief others see, but they weigh just as heavily on the heart. If you've ever sat in your living room, stared at old photos, and felt a heaviness you couldn't name, that's grief too, the kind the world doesn't make space for. But you deserve to feel it, to name it, to honor it. And you deserve support through it. If this resonates with you, take a moment right now and comment below, "I've felt this." Just those 3 words. You might be surprised how many others quietly whisper "me too" when they see it. And if you haven't yet, subscribe now, because in the weeks ahead, we'll be talking about ways to process this quiet grief, how to give it voice, how to heal from it, and how to find new meaning even in the spaces loss has left behind. We cannot change the past, but we can change how we carry it, together. 2. The fear of becoming a burden, and why it's eating us alive. There's a question that creeps in sometime after retirement, after the kids have left, after the body starts aching in places it never used to. It doesn't come all at once. It tiptoes in during moments of stillness. When you reach for something and realize you can't quite do it alone, when you cancel a plan because you're too tired, or when someone you love sighs just a little too heavily as they help you. The question is this: am I becoming a burden? And for many older adults, that question becomes a quiet, constant fear. You don't want to ask for help, not because you don't need it, but because you're terrified of the look in their eyes. Not anger, not even frustration, just inconvenience. You see it, you feel it, and it cuts deeper than anyone realizes. You start minimizing your needs, telling people, "I'm fine," even when you're not. You push through the pain. You try to stay cheerful. You make jokes at your own expense to mask the fact that you feel like a weight on others. But inside, the fear grows. Here's the truth no one tells you. You are not a burden. You are a human being in a new season of life. One that deserves compassion, not guilt. One that deserves support, not silence. If someone you love is making you feel otherwise, it's not your failure. It's their misunderstanding of what aging really is, a continuation of life, not the end of usefulness. Let me ask you, have you ever held back from asking for help because you didn't want to bother anyone? If so, comment below, "I've done that." It's a powerful way to let others know they're not alone in that fear. And if you want weekly videos that remind you of your worth, your strength, and your dignity in this chapter of life, hit that subscribe button now. We're building a community where your voice still matters. Remember, asking for help is not weakness. It's wisdom. And accepting help with grace, that's not being a burden. That's being brave. 3. The financial anxiety that never retires, even when you do. You've worked your whole life, paid your dues, saved when you could, sacrificed for your children, paid off debts, weathered recessions, stretched every dollar. And still, somehow, even in retirement, money remains a source of quiet dread. It's not something you say out loud, especially if your family thinks you're set. But behind closed doors, the calculator comes out more often than it used to. Groceries cost more. Medication costs more. Rent, utilities, even a simple haircut. Everything is rising except your income. And yet, society seems to believe that retirement is a golden age of leisure. That your days are filled with cruises and hobbies, not choices between prescriptions and produce. But here's the truth for many seniors. Retirement doesn't end financial worry. It just changes the kind. The worry shifts from how do I earn more to how long will what I've earned last. You find yourself skipping meals to stretch your budget. You say no to outings because you're quietly counting every dollar. You downplay your needs, dental care, vision checkups, home repairs, all because your fixed income isn't stretching far enough. And the worst part? You feel ashamed for feeling afraid, as if after all these years, you should have somehow figured it all out. But let me tell you something very clearly. The system was never built with your security in mind. And your fear doesn't mean you failed. It means you're living in a reality that deserves more attention, more honesty, and more support. Let's break the silence together. If you've ever found yourself lying awake at night, doing the math, wondering how to make it all work, take a deep breath. You're not alone. Comment below, "I still worry about money." You'd be shocked how many others do too, and how freeing it can be to finally say it out loud. And if you want more videos like this, ones that speak truthfully about aging, not sugar-coated myths, subscribe now. This is a space where we talk about what matters without shame. Because you deserve peace of mind, not just in your youth, but in every season of life, especially now. 4. The vanishing of purpose when the world stops needing you, but you still need meaning. There's a moment that comes for many people after retirement, not all at once, but slowly, over time. The phone stops ringing with questions only you could answer. No more early morning alarms, no deadlines, no coworkers depending on you. At first, it feels like freedom. But after a while, a different feeling creeps in. A quiet question, what now? You see, for decades, your life had structure. You had purpose, whether that was in your job, your children, your marriage, your volunteering, or simply in being the one people turn to. You knew where you fit in the world. You mattered. But what happens when that role fades? When the people you cared for have moved on, when the job is done, and no one needs your wisdom in quite the same way? Here's the hard truth no one likes to admit. Purpose is just as essential as food or sleep, especially as we age. And when it disappears, so does our sense of identity. We feel like we're drifting. Days blend together. The calendar empties. The world moves fast, and it feels like it left you behind. This isn't depression, though it can become that. It's something deeper, a hunger for meaning. And if you're feeling it, you are not broken. You are human. Let me ask you, when was the last time you felt truly needed? Not just loved, needed. That sense of, I made someone's life better today because I exist. If it's been a while, I want you to comment, I miss feeling needed. Your words might give another silent soul the courage to speak up, too. And please, subscribe to our channel, because in the next video, we're diving into powerful, practical ways to rediscover purpose after 60. Not just to pass time, but to ignite something inside you again. Because purpose doesn't retire, meaning doesn't expire, and your life, right now, still holds the potential to touch others, to build, to serve, to grow. You are not finished. You're simply being called into a new kind of purpose, one that begins with believing you're still needed. 5. The silent toll of loneliness, when days are quiet and hearts are louder. Loneliness is not just being alone. It's being unseen. It's sitting in a room that used to echo with laughter and now only hums with the sound of your own thoughts. It's eating dinner at a table set for one, scrolling past photos of gatherings you weren't invited to and wondering if anyone noticed your silence. You can be surrounded by people, even family, and still feel completely, utterly disconnected. For many older adults, this loneliness doesn't strike suddenly. It arrives gradually. A friend moves away. A spouse passes. Adult children are too busy. Weekly coffee dates stop. Church groups dwindle. The pandemic doesn't help. The invitations slow, then stop, and you begin to ask yourself, did I disappear? This is not just an emotional ache. Studies have shown that chronic loneliness is just as damaging to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It increases the risk of dementia, weakens the immune system, shrinks your world until it's hard to remember what laughter felt like. But here's something I need you to hear. Loneliness is not your fault. It is not a reflection of your worth. It is a symptom of a society that has forgotten how to honor its elders. Still, even in that silence, there's hope, because connection is possible, and often it begins with just one small, brave step. If you're watching this and nodding through tears, I want you to write 3 simple words in the comments. I feel alone, not for pity, but for solidarity, because someone else, somewhere, will read those words and realize they're not the only one either. And if this message speaks to your soul, click subscribe, because we're building something here, a place where stories are shared, where silence is broken, where community is rekindled, one voice at a time. You deserve more than just existence. You deserve connection, companionship, conversations that matter, moments that feel full again. Because even in your quietest days, you are worthy of being heard, and someone out there is waiting to hear you. 6. The body that betrays, living inside a shell that no longer obeys. There's a moment, maybe it was when you struggled to open a jar you used to pop open effortlessly, or when you rose from a chair and had to pause, steady yourself, wait for your knees to cooperate. A moment when you looked in the mirror and didn't quite recognize the person staring back. Aging brings with it a body that begins to whisper and sometimes scream that it can no longer do what it once did. You used to walk for hours. Now a trip to the mailbox feels like a chore. You once carried grandchildren on your shoulders. Now, lifting a grocery bag requires planning. And with every creak of a joint, every forgotten name, every stumble or hesitation, comes a surge of frustration, embarrassment, even shame. What no one told you is that the body ages faster than the soul. Inside, your mind still feels alive. Your memories are vibrant. Your curiosity still sparks. But the vessel you live in, it slows, sags, forgets. And in those moments, it can feel like a betrayal. And yet, your body is not your enemy. It is your history. The wrinkles on your hands have held newborns, gripped steering wheels through storms, planted gardens, wiped tears. Your scars, your stiffness, They are records of a life lived deeply. But it's okay to grieve what's been lost. To say, I miss how strong I used to feel. You're not complaining. You're telling the truth. So if you've ever felt trapped inside a body that no longer matches your spirit, comment below, I still feel young inside. Because that feeling, that fire, that's something age can't touch. And if these words resonate, if they've said what you've been quietly thinking, subscribe now. Because we're creating a space where your experience is honored, not dismissed. You are still in there, behind the aches, beyond the wrinkles, beneath the weariness. You are still here, and you still matter. 7. The disrespect of a youth-obsessed world. When society stops seeing you, there's a shift that happens slowly. At first, you don't notice it. Then one day, you walk into a store and the clerk addresses your companion, not you. You share an idea in a conversation and no one really listens. Commercials start to feel like they're made for someone else, someone younger, faster, more relevant. And it hits you. The world has stopped looking at you. In a society obsessed with youth, growing older often feels like fading into the background. It's not just about movies, ads, or fashion. It's about how quickly your value seems to be tied to how young you appear, not how wise you've become. You turn on the TV and see people your age used as the butt of the joke. You visit the doctor and get brushed off with, well, that's just part of getting older. You speak and people talk over you as if decades of life experience count for nothing. This isn't just annoying, it's dehumanizing. Because you've lived through wars, raised families, built businesses, survived loss, adapted through massive cultural and technological change. And now, suddenly, you're expected to shrink? To sit down, be quiet, and stay out of the way? No. Let's be clear. You are not invisible. You are not obsolete. You are not irrelevant. If you've ever felt dismissed, disrespected, or disregarded simply because of your age, comment below, I still have something to say. And then say it. Say something you believe, something you've learned. Let this space be your megaphone. And if you want to be part of a movement that fights against ageism, that demands respect for elders, not pity, subscribe to this channel now. We are louder together. Because the wisdom that comes with age is a treasure. And this world is in desperate need of what you still have to offer. Your presence matters. Your voice matters. And we will not let this world forget that. If you made it this far, I want you to pause and take a breath. Let this truth sink in. You are not alone. Not in your grief. Not in your fear of being a burden. Not in your quiet financial worries. Not in the fading sense of purpose. Not in the weight of loneliness. Not in the betrayal of your own body. Not in the feeling of being unseen. These are the silent struggles of aging. And they are real. They are heavy. But most importantly, they are shared. And there is power in that. You've carried so much for so long, with strength, with dignity, often without acknowledgement. But here, in this space, we see you. We honor you. We believe your best chapters are not behind you. They're still being written. Maybe you can't run like you used to. Maybe your days are quieter. Maybe the world doesn't always recognize your worth. But we do. And so does everyone in this growing community. So if something in this video stirred something inside you, don't let it end here. Comment below what spoke to you most. What struggle do you carry in silence? Share it. Speak it. Heal from it. Like this video. Not for vanity, but so more people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond find this message when they need it most. Subscribe, because every week we go deeper. We talk about what matters. We speak truth to the parts of aging that others overlook. And before you go, let me leave you with this. You're still worthy, still strong, still wise, still here. And we're so grateful that you are. This is not the end. It's a turning point, a return to purpose, to voice, to connection. And it begins right now with you.